let's have a conversation. What's happening, everybody? Good morning. I hope everybody is doing well. Before I start, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Hello, MC. How are you doing today? Hey, Don. How's it going? Long time no see. So this is just going to be a quick video regarding Ashley Mitchell when she was kicked off of Spies, Lies, and Allies. If anybody remembers that season of The Challenge, Ashley Mitchell just disappeared from the season. Like, you just saw her in one episode and you didn't see her in the next episode, and there was no explanation of why. Hi, Victoria. There was no explanation as to why she was not on the season anymore. So, of course, we all tapped into the rumor mill and basically saw that she was kicked off of the season for making comments about Josh Martinez's sexuality. Now, as far as I know, or as far as I saw, it wasn't a particular slur. It was just a comment about his preferences, and then she got removed from the show. So the rumor mill and everybody kind of speculated that Josh did not want her on the show anymore and he got her kicked off. They also had said that other castmates from the show had campaigned to get her kicked off because they felt that that wasn't right. So supposedly they got into a big argument, and they're saying that Ashley was drunk during the argument and then basically just told him, like, you don't like women. We all know that you don't like women. And the other castmates thought the comment was off base, and supposedly production also thought so, and they got rid of her. So the reason I'm talking about this now, considering that that happened so long ago, was because somebody actually asked Josh that question at a Challenge Mania event, and it was recorded. If nobody knows what a Challenge Mania event is, it's these events that Derek from the Challenge, Derek K, and his business partner Scott started doing, I think 5 or 6 years ago. This year was the first year that I have attended any, or end of last year. And at the events, they have Q&A segments. So one of the fans asked him during the Q&A, and I'm going to post the little snippet. You can actually hear this. It's on Twitter if you want to look for it, but I'm going to post a little snippet of his response. So he said, I'll be very honest with you. I love the network. I love MTV. They gave me a huge platform, but they missed an opportunity to show something real. I've been on the show 5 seasons, and I've been attacked about everything. The way I talk, to the way I compete, everything, Josh said. For once, I feel like I wasn't in the wrong, and I feel like they should have shown that. If there's any regret, that was the one opportunity they could have shown. At the end of the day, she attacked something that a lot of people struggle with, and it's nobody's business. Not only that, she shouldn't have gone that low. And then Tori jumped in and said, Josh is really sweet, and no. She made comments that literally offended production. If you offend production, you have to understand that you're wrong. You do not call somebody out for things that are personal to your life. And if you don't know about them, don't do it. There's a certain liability in this game. This is a game. We're on public television. People see us. You do not get to be someone else's story and narrator. Josh is the narrator. That's it. And no, Tori said of Ashley's comments. So there was also a little thing about CT. I might listen to more of this whole Challenge Mania Q&A that they did, but I just heard the little snippets that made the reels and made Twitter and all that. And CT was kind of like, when things like that happened back in the day, they had the opportunity to work them out. And in my opinion, I feel like this was one that potentially could have been worked out. Now, don't get me wrong. Ashley was in the wrong in the argument as far as what I've heard about it. Ashley was in the wrong in the argument. She shouldn't have said what she said. There was no real basis for it. But I feel like some people during arguments, they go for low blows. I'm not necessarily one of those people. I'm a person who I say what I mean and I mean what I say. The only difference that you're going to get when I'm upset versus when I'm not upset is I might say it a little differently when I'm upset versus when I'm not upset. But I'm not somebody who says something in a moment of anger and is like, I didn't mean to say that. I only said that because I'm mad. Because no, if I said it, it was in there for me to say somewhere. Now, I'm not necessarily it's hard. I have a hard time with this kind of stuff because I'm like, so if somebody comes on the show and it's a reality TV show and it's supposed to be real, and then you get a moment like this where they come on the show, they've been on the show, and then they have an argument with a castmate. They kind of hit somebody with a low blow. So you're just going to remove them from the show instead of showing the actual moment of what happened. You're going to just take them off of the show and not explain anything to anybody. I felt a similar way about when Dee made her comments and then they just edited her out of the rest of the season. I feel like there's a point to it being called reality TV. I don't want to see an edited version. Obviously, if it's some kind of legal case or something like that where you can't show it, that's one thing. But if it's a case where you're like, we're scared of the public reaction to and the potential backlash to if we actually air this situation, that's a whole different story. I mean, they sign up for reality TV. We watch the shows because we enjoy seeing things that are real and authentic to what's going on. They were friends on the show, Don. I'm still 24 hours behind on my new season challenge watches, so saving the recap video. Oh, you mean you haven't watched the last episode? It was pretty good. Weren't Ashley and Josh semi-friends on the show? They were definitely friends. I watched this week's show, but I need to watch Mark's recap too. Thank you. How long ago did this happen? I think it was maybe 2 to 3 years ago, MC. Yeah, so it was pretty recent. And that's something that is true to form with MTV nowadays. Because I know if a lot of you guys have watched MTV historically, like I have, they used to let everything fly. Fights, homophobia, sexist, racist, like everything goes. Everything used to go for MTV. I remember when Camila, if any of you are Challenge fans, I remember when Camila berated Leroy for hours. MTV, TJ didn't even make a statement for that. Because normally when incidents happen in a challenge house, TJ will show up the next day and be like, hey, you're going home. This is not allowed. That's not allowed. But when she berated Leroy with racial slurs or racial comments, not necessarily racial slurs, racially charged comments about his skin color, TJ didn't even say anything, and Leroy had to actually stop TJ because he was going right into his talk about the game and be like, before you even start, the comments that Camila made last night were unacceptable. So I don't really feel like MTV is inclusive, safe space, anything like that. I just feel like MTV is scared because of the backlash that they have gotten from past incidents that they let slide. So they have done this zero tolerance policy type of thing. Yeah, they were definitely friends, MC. They were good friends. Matter of fact, castmates were even saying that Josh and Ashley had fooled around on that particular season that they were on together. Funny enough, MTV pretends hiding it and putting out an all-inclusive statement covers. I agree. They're concerned with the brand, not the players. I totally agree with that. The Camila thing was definitely horrible. I felt so angry as a black man watching that situation play out, and I felt even worse when he was the only one who was speaking up for that. Like, it showed some of his friends talking about it in the confessional, like, oh, that's not right, that's not cool. But in the actual moment, nobody was saying anything. They did Leroy dirty, no accountability, and then used him as a franchise draw for fans for years. Yeah, I agree, Don. I agree. So MTV, I know the show loves Josh for his drama too. I agree, Mark. When a challenger says something racist, they shut it down. Cancel and kick them off. We love the drama too. Yeah, I was mad at Big Brother this season for doing a lot of that. A lot of cutting feeds, a lot of cutting out really important conversations, because at the end of the day, if you look back, I started on The Real World. The Real World is the first reality TV show that I got into ever in my life. And what made the show so endearing and what made the show so popular and so good is that real people entered into a house. A lot of times they came from different cultures, different backgrounds, different religions, different everything. And they would get into that house together, and they would be experiencing a new state or a new city, new country that they've never been to before, or just experiencing it in a new way, in a new setting, and with different people. And they would have arguments, they would have disagreements, they would have things that they said that were ignorant. They would be experiencing things in a public eye for the first time a lot of the time, and we would get to see that, and we'd see disputes, arguments, people working through things, working through differences. Now we don't even see that. We don't even get to see the conversation. They'll just cut that right out. Like, we want to manufacture. I had a word in my head, but I lost it. But we're trying to like manufacture these situations and make them look like they are spontaneous, when a lot of times they actually aren't. When I interviewed John was telling me about times in production. He said that when he was doing his original Real World California, it was just the cameras are rolling and you're talking and you're moving and doing whatever you do. He was like, when he came back for the Real World Homecoming on Paramount Plus, all of a sudden somebody would have a conversation with somebody, production's watching it, and then they were like, okay, let's circle back and redo that whole conversation and record it again because we don't like the way that turned out. Like, it's like a take. BB leaving out. Oh man, that pained me, MC. That literally pained me. Those conversations that they cut out. because I'm like, this is so, so, so important. And it could be an incredible learning moment for the people watching. But they were more concerned, the same thing with MTV, like they were more concerned with protecting the brand than they were with the reality of what was going on. And it's like, even what they showed, the parts that they showed were really powerful, but what about the house meeting? What about the initial discussions with Kyle after all of that stuff came out? What about the discussions with Michael and Brittany? We should have seen all of that stuff. What a missed opportunity by the network. What a missed opportunity by the network to show those things. Come on. Because me personally, I can connect with some of those things that I was watching on the show in the real world. And that's what makes the shows so interesting to me. But the more they get involved with the invisible hand of production, is the harder it is for me to really rock with the shows like that. I still like them, but it's never going to be the same as they were in my era. They're never going to be the same. But yeah, as for this Josh Ashley situation, I agree with Josh. Josh said that he feels that they should have actually showed the argument. He feels that they should have actually showed the argument. But the reason he was saying they should have showed it was because apparently he got some fan backlash saying that he got Ashley kicked off the show and he's the reason why she doesn't get callbacks anymore. I feel like they should have shown it because it's real. It's really what happened. Is really what happened. Now, the callback part, whatever. There's reasons for not calling somebody back onto a show. I get that part of it, definitely. But I feel like you should show the discussion that took place so we can all look at the discussion, judge for ourselves, instead of having to go off of hearsay. And it's hearsay, but there's legal implications because I've heard a lot about these contracts, and I've even seen the Big Brother contract. I've been meaning to like break down the Big Brother contracts that they have to sign, but I haven't got to it yet. But these contracts that these reality TV stars end up signing mean that they can't even talk about these situations. So even Josh's explanation at Challenge Mania, it was somewhat detailed, but it was a little on the vague side as well. There's no longer yeah, Don, I'm so with you there. I am so with you there. There's no longer any conversation or educating of the ignorant, just cancellation and bashing right off the bat. Right off the bat. If y'all remember the D situation, so I made a whole post about D. I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago, because Dee made a podcast where she was talking about that whole situation of the post that she made on Twitter, the couple of posts that she made on Twitter as responses to fans that got her kicked off of the challenge and banned from being on future challenges, and MTV saying they no longer want a relationship with her. Based on the comments that she said on her recent podcast, I don't want to see her again. However, just to use this as an example, it's a possibility that the response that she got from MTV is the reason why she blames the fans, she blames the network, and she blames her castmates more than holding accountability. Because when you give somebody the space, when you tell somebody, this is why what you said was wrong, this is why what you said was racist, let me give you some tools or some things for you to read, look up, experience for educational purposes so that you don't do something like this or say something like this in the future. It's not a guarantee that they are going to change or be authentically apologetic, but at least there's a chance for them to do so. What do you gain by automatically canceling that person? There are some situations, obviously, that I agree where canceling is just, bang the gavel on them right away. But there's a lot of situations I believe in giving somebody a chance to know what they're doing wrong, giving them an education on why, and giving them a chance to see if they do differently. If they do not, after you've given them that chance, go ahead, toss them aside, get rid of them, but give them the chance first. It seems that Wes tried to give Dee a blueprint back, but she didn't follow it. No, I wouldn't say that Wes gave her a blueprint back. I did an interview with Wes, and I've communicated with Wes about that situation, and it seems like Wes was really put in a tough position by Dee. Well, maybe you're right to an extent. Not necessarily about the blueprint back, but he was put in a tough position in a sense that he had a lot of things tied to Dee, to where even if he wanted to just forgive her and give her the opportunity, there was other people and other factors around him that didn't allow for him to do so. So he said that he had both business and personal reasons for getting rid of her, getting her out of his house, and all of that stuff. So, but generally, that was just the example that I chose to use in this moment. But generally, I feel like give them a chance, give them the education, and see what they do with it from there. That's my feeling on that. These shows are now all on this zero tolerance policy where they're scared of the cancel culture. The thing about it is, MTV is not going to get canceled. Paramount Plus is not going to get canceled. That's why I don't like this. If I say something wild on my channel right now, I could get canceled immediately. My channel could be gone. My page could be gone. You know what I mean? It could be just like that. It could be a situation just like that. My income is just cut off, right? But they're not going to cut off a whole network because of showing a real conversation that took place with house guests that are in the show. Yes, they need to show us more. They love their edits. Kyle didn't do much like he promised. Agreed, Don and MC. My video that I posted during the Big Brother season of Kyle, of my opinion on the Kyle situation, was my highest viewed video of this page. I was looking at my video analytics the other day. My Kyle video, let's say this, out of the videos that I have left after I had to delete all these other videos because of the reused content thing with YouTube, Kyle is currently, my Kyle reaction video is currently the highest viewed video on my page. And it was also the most highly scrutinized. Because when I first heard the comments and I first heard Michael and Brittany talking about it, and they had the whole situation where they exposed him and all that, all I said was the comments were definitely ignorant. The comments had subconscious bias for sure, but we don't know enough yet to say that he's racist and we should cancel him. That's what I said at that point in time. And I had so many people say, how dare you say that? I'm ashamed that you, as a black man, support a racist, this and that and the other. And I said to myself, and I said on some of my lives, what if you were in a situation where you said something that was really ignorant, and then people were not even willing to listen to your explanation or even give you a chance to know why what you said was ignorant and to do something different. It was just like, cancel them. Cancel them. I don't believe in the cancel culture. I'm not with the cancel culture. I don't ride waves. I've had conversations with friends where it's like I'm talking to the friend and I'm like talking about a certain celebrity or something, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear? We're not supporting this person anymore, buying their music, or we're not watching their movies anymore." And I'm like, "Oh, why?" Well, because they had this conversation with this person on this radio interview, and then they said this, so now we're canceling them. I'm not a person who cancels based on people telling me that I need to cancel. I will look into the situation for myself and see what I think about it and go from there. I don't ride the cancel waves. And when it comes to these shows, like I keep saying, I think that they served more of a purpose when we could see the real. I think that's probably a part of why the Real World got canceled, because I think it started to look more manufactured than it used to. Like, it just used to be the cameras are rolling and people are doing what they do. And then as time went on, it was like, let's just try to create these situations ourselves with production. And we want to show a certain thing and we want to make things look a certain way. And the people who go on the show get their coaching. This is what you do. This is the things you say. This is how you get a call back. You know, it became more of a job to portray what reality is instead of just being real. And being real, okay, for any of us, not just the people that go on the shows. We're human. We're all human beings. Whether you go on a show or not, we're all human beings. We have times where we are the knight in shining armor. We have times where we're celebrated, where we say great things and we do great things. We also have times where we say bad things. We have times where we say things that are wrong. We have times where we say things that are stupid, ignorant. We have times where we offend people deeply. Everybody does. I do. Anyone who's watching this does. So what I loved, because this has not been happening recently, what I used to love is the fact that I could watch things that were a microcosm of my experiences. I could connect with certain things. I could learn from mistakes that people make that they're willing to make on these public settings. Now that's not even happening. When the mistake happens, they just cut it out of the footage. We never see it. And we, like I said, we get second and third hand accounts that are wrapped up in all these legalities. So we don't even hear the whole true story. We just hear the pieces of it that they can say without getting sued, because that's a thing that happens. That's something that I've learned. Even I've only done a few of these interviews with these people, but I've seen them kind of skirt around certain questions that I ask. And I know that it's because of the legalities. And also, they're thinking about things like callbacks. It's a lot of them, like, it's their job, it's their income, it's part of their income. And I understand that. And they have their name on paperwork saying you can't talk about these certain things. So that's my commentary about the Josh Ashley situation. Do I want Ashley to be back on the show? I don't really know. It's because it's hard to say without having seen the entirety. I want to see that whole argument. Like, without seeing that, I can't really say, yes, I want her back on there. No, I don't want her back on there. But Josh said that he would like to see her back on there, which was interesting. But it sounds like the powers that be might not want her back. And that's just the way that it's going to be. We're never going to see the discussion that took place. So it's going to be out in the air. It's going to be hearsay. He said, she said, is what it is. And that's my update on the Josh Ashley situation and the recent Challenge Mania comments. There's a Challenge Mania event coming up here soon. I might not make the next one, but I am I'm hoping to make the following one that's coming afterwards. And I will talk to all you guys later, and I hope you have a great one.